Uh, Kind sir.
Nikhil, have you started on YouTube?
Yes, sir. We started.
Yes, it is live actually. I have seen.
Okay.
Sir, good evening. Kind sir, good evening, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, sir. Sir, Sidhu sir, can we start?
Okay. We for the student we given at 5 p.m. sir.
Yes, sir.
Principal sir, can we start at 5 or else we will start now only?
Yes, sir. Rakhi ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Sidhu sir, can we start?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Welcome all of you from JSPM Imperial College of Engineering and Research and Innovation, Entrepreneurship and Startup Forum. IES Forum organizing a webinar series on theme Innovation, Entrepreneurship and Startup. We started with the inaugural session and Associate Institute for the first webinar is JSPM Imperial College of Engineering and Research, Pune, on topic ideation and innovation process in enterprise creation with resource person Mr. Deepan Sahu, Assistant Innovation Director, Ministry of Education's Innovation Cell, AICT. Welcomes to all of you. I request Dr. Rakesh Sharma to begin the session. Inaugural session.
Thank you, Mr. Sanjay. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
A very good evening to all of you and a very warm welcome to the inaugural session of the webinar series organized by Innovation, Entrepreneurship and Startup Forum in collaboration with JCPM's Imperial College of Engineering and Research. We thank the college for supporting this initiative. To begin with, let me quote Warren Buffett. He said, "Someone is sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree long time ago. And we want to plant the tree of innovation and entrepreneurship in the ecosystem. And this is what our vision is for IES Forum. Instead of freaking out about these constraints, we feel we should embrace them. Let them guide us. because constraints drive innovation and force focus. And that is what, as a team, we want to do. Instead of trying to remove them, use them to your advantage. And this is a message we want to give to all the people who are a part of the forum. Let me take you a little bit about IES Forum. The forum is a group of 200 plus individuals who have interest to contribute in strengthening the innovation in the respective institute and in the ecosystem.
Hello.
With some eminent members who have experience in the respective field and interest. Our vision is to imbibe innovation, leadership, and business development practices among all stakeholders. So whether it is startups, whether it is government, whether it is institutes, so all areas we would like to create an impact and have a social impact. Our mission is to provide all kind of support and strengthen this support system by conducting innovative programs for all stakeholders. To develop a passion, not only among students, but also in faculty to pursue entrepreneurship. But how we'll do that? We have a team of people who are taking a lead to bring this change together. To begin with, let me take you to the team of people who have come together to take this ahead. The first person in our team is Dr. Shrikant Kalurkar. He's a very experienced person who always guides the forum with his insights, supported startups, and guided them throughout. He's a principal at Atharva College of Engineering, Mumbai. He brings that kind of different flavor whenever we have discussions, and that's what is important for us to every time have an iterative process. When we talk about anytime startup, ecosystem, innovation, how can we miss out on industry perspective? And to bring that industry perspective, we have a lot of industry people who are there in our forum who brings that kind of expertise, guidance to startups, incubators, and faculty. And we have one key person in the team is Mr. Shailendra Goswami. He's a chairman and managing director of Pushkaraj Group, and he brings that to connect with the industry. When we talk about innovation, when we talk about hand-holding, when we talk about startups, how can we not handhold all our startups? And for that, we need someone who should be an expert in incubation. So we have a key person, Mr. Suryakant Dodmise, who's an incubation manager at RIT TBI. He is a person who's responsible in key handling of all the incubation support system at the forum. Mr. Dodmise brings that kind of perspective for incubation support, funding, government support, all sort of expertise in our ecosystem. Before introducing the next person, let me just say this line. People who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones who do. And that brings me to the next person in our team is Mr. Sanjay Jagtap. He is the head of ED Cell, DST, NIMAT coordinator, assistant professor at JSPM's, our host institute for today for the session. He is the person who brings that kind of, he acts as a catalyst to bring and drives the entire activities of the forum. The next person is Mr. Sandeep Magdam in our team. The future belongs to the competent. Get good, get better, and be the best is what best describes the next person in our team, Mr. Sandeep. He's the head of Placement Cell Innovation Incubation Center at Garda Institute of Technology. He's also a representative for Maharashtra TPO Association. He's associated with 50 colleges and 5,000 students for training and placement. Another person in the team is myself. I'm a mentor at Startup India. I'm involved in various startup as mentor and advisor, and have conducted various FDPs in the state of Maharashtra, Gujarat, and Madhya Pradesh. I'm a convener of Incubator and Accelerator Center, and I'm heading Management Studies Department at Jai Hind College, Mumbai. Last but not the least, if you want to make a permanent change, stop focusing on the size of your problems and start focusing on the size of you. And that's the next person who does in our team is Mr. Sopan Aghav. He's a professor of MCA at Pimpri Chinchwad College of Engineering, DST NIMAT coordinator. He's a certified trainer by Entrepreneurship Development Institute of India and author of various books. And last but not least, all our fellow colleagues who have joined this forum, different institutes who have collaborated, all these people to take this journey ahead and create an impact. This is all our team, and we are looking forward to make this team bigger so that we have synergistic effect across, not only in the state of Maharashtra, but nationwide. And that's what the country needs. With this, I would like Mr. Sanjay to take the session forward and introduce the leading keynote speakers and the session experts. Mr. Sanjay Jagtap, over to you.
Yes, sir. JSPM Group of Institutes, Pune, Imperial College of Engineering and Research welcomes all of you. Jeevan Shikshan Prasarak Mandal, JSPM, was established in 1998 with the objective of creating Center of Excellence for education in the field of engineering, medical, pharmacy, management, computers by Professor Dr. T.J. Sawant is a person with a lot of ambitions with capacity to achieve them. 1998 founded Jeevan Shikshan Prasarak Mandal with a vision to establish a quality educational institutes in Pune. Driven by a mission of providing an excellent quality education, JSPM has now established 5 campuses in Pune, which are Tathode, Hadapsar, Wagoli, Baudan, Nare, and 1 campus at Barsi. All these campuses are having quality educational institutes, schools, and colleges with excellent infrastructure and academic ambitions. With this, our JSPM Wagoli campus directors, Dr. V.M. Kainde and Dr. S.N. Patil, they are the source of inspiration of the faculty, students in developing and creating innovation and startup ecosystem in a campus. I will invite Dr. V.M. Kainde sir to say a few words.
Thank you, Sanjay. The thing is that I'm really thankful for the innovation and entrepreneurship and startup forum that given us an opportunity to host this webinar series in our campus with the help of obviously Mr. Sanjay Jagtap in our Imperial College of Engineering and Research. I'm really thankful for giving us a very keynote speaker, Mr. Dipanshu Shah, who is Assistant Innovative Director at the Ministry of Education's Innovation Cell and AICT. JSPM Group of Institutions has always supported such a creative and a new kind of concepts which already is in existence and supports the different innovations and the entrepreneurships and the incubations in the institutions. This is supposed to be this is supposed to be the third or fourth innovative platform that we have been giving to our students to develop themselves, the skills in the different startups to become new entrepreneurs in their life. And so many students have achieved this place and have shown their existence in that also. I'm really thankful once again on behalf of Jeevan Shikshan Prasarak Mandal, Pune and Imperial College of Engineering. I'm thankful to all authorities who have given us an opportunity to host this platform, to host this webinar series on the platform of Imperial College of Engineering. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now our institute, JSPM Imperial College of Engineering and Research, have been established in year 2006 It is affiliated to Savitribai Phule Pune University, approved by AICTE and accredited by NAC with A grade. Our institute is offering UG courses in computer engineering, mechanical engineering, electronics and telecommunication engineering, civil engineering, and PG courses in engineering and management. Our institute principal, Dr. R.S. Deshpande sir, are the source of inspiration and guide for our entrepreneurship development cell, IIC, Institution Innovation Council, Industry Institute Interaction Cell, Training and Placement Cell for promoting and inculcating the innovation and startup ecosystem in a campus. I will invite Dr. R.S. Deshpande sir to say a few words on this occasion. Yes, sir.
Sir, it is not audible, sir.
Yes, sir, principal.
A very good.
Sanjay sir, please unmute yourself.
Hello.
Yes, sir, it
yes,
is
sir.
audible.
You're
A
audible.
very good evening to all of you. First of all, it is a very nice opportunity for the young budding engineers to become an entrepreneur. And through this innovation, entrepreneurship, and startup forum, we could able to achieve this. And first of all, I welcome them because they have organized such a nice session for the students, for the young engineers, and they can take make a good opportunity of this and take a good chance for this, because now in this situation as we face today, COVID-19 and all these things, we have seen that the drastically the number of jobs are very decreasing, and it is a very situation in which how to find a job and how to do own things are become very drastically changed. And in such a situation, the IES forum and all their dignitaries which are present there, they have taken a very good initiative. uh, all the dignitaries are very precious, and they have taken this as an initiative, as a mission, so that some innovation is to be inculcated in the students, in the faculty members. Some entrepreneurship is there, and through the medium of the digital India, which is a good initiative by government of India, make in India, smart India cities. So a lot of avenues, lot of opportunities are available. And uh, today's speaker or today's guest, uh, Mr. Deepan Sahu, he is the Assistant Director of the Innovation Cell of Ministry of Education, AICT. He is the most renowned person, and definitely his experience, the different types of government schemes, he will going to guide the students and all the faculty members. Sir, you are most welcome on this platform of Imperial College of Engineering, Wagholi, Pune. As Dr. Kainde sir has told, that JSPM group has a renowned group in the Pune University, not only in Pune University, but in Maharashtra also. And we are always there to promote such activities which will be helpful for the students, because basic motive of JSPM and the ICOR is to promote most activities, good activities for the student that will be helpful for them. So innovation is the requirement of time. Concept is the king, knowledge is the king. And in such a situation, we find that this is a very timely webinar, which has been organized here. Maximum advantage can be taken by the faculty members also and the students also, so that they can find a new avenue, new opportunities for their career in this field. So I congratulate all the members of the IES, and also I welcome Mr. Dipan Sahu, who has spared his valuable time, and most of the students have also joined to this session. And I wish you all the best. Whatever the help required in the future, will be always there to take the initiative further and to do things in the case of entrepreneurship and innovations. So thank you. Best wishes to all of you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Today's speaker will introduce, first of all, welcomes you, sir, Dipan Sahu, sir. So Dipan Sahu is a development professional with more than 10 years of experience and expertise in policy design and implementation in areas of innovation and startup ecosystem development in higher educational institutions. Dipan Sahu currently is serving at Assistant Innovation Director at Innovation Cell, Ministry of Education, Innovation Cell, AICT. Dipan Sahu is associating with AICT since 2017, and he is a core member of the implementation team of National Innovation and Startup Policy for students and faculty in higher educational institutions. Sri Dipan Sahu sir plays a lead role in designing and implementation of numbers of other major initiatives, such as Atal ranking of institutions on innovation achievement area, Institutions Innovation Council, MBA in Innovation, Entrepreneurship and Venture Development, International Acceleration Program for Early Stage Startups. He manages a portfolio of various programs are being implemented under AICT Startup Policy in academic institutions at AICT. Now I invite Sri Dipan Sahu sir to address the participants. Dipan Sahu.
Thank you, Sanjay ji, for the very brief but very nice introduction. And also I thank Dr. Deshpande ji, the director and the principal of Imperial College of Engineering and Research, Pune. And also I thank all the sister institutions and the part of JSPM group. And you all came together and you have set up a forum that you name it as Innovation, Entrepreneurship and Startup Forum. And I believe this forum is a kind of an inter-institutional body that you are aiming for, and to drive that innovation and startup ecosystem in all the 5 campuses that you have, all are part of this JSPM group. So what I understood during the brief introduction, I thought I am putting my words appropriately, because I don't know. Is it, Sanjay? Is it only 5 institutions?
No, sir. Innovation Entrepreneurship Startup Forum is a group of 205 plus individuals.
Okay.
Which have interest and has a mission to create and develop innovation and startup ecosystem.
And it's also beyond the
beyond.
Okay.
So all the faculty are associated from various institutes and from different cities, and most of the startups are associated with the forum.
Good. Okay, so let me correct. So JSPM, this IS forum is not to the JSPM, it is beyond to the JSPM. And also it's good to know that more than 250 professionals, and especially the faculties, entrepreneurs and the innovators, especially from this academic setup, and they come together with a like-minded way, and to have taken with some kind of a commitment that they want to change the landscape of in academics, and especially bringing the innovation and entrepreneurship into the system, which is need of the hour. And that's the reason why you have started a web series on innovation and the startup. And I'm really happy that you have reached to me, and also it was my pleasure that to give the time, and also because I'm implementing this Institutions Innovation Council here at the Ministry of Education, and so far we have developed a network of more than 1,700 higher educational institutes. Those have established these IICs in their campus. And this councils set up by the institutions is to see that how more and more such innovation and entrepreneurship activities should be conducted in the campus. And also that will leads to the kind of giving more kind of opportunities, exposure opportunities for the students, and they will get observed. They will observe this concept of innovation and entrepreneurship, and further it will help them to inculcate that mindset of problem identification, and then creating opportunity from that problem identification in terms of the business ideas. And this is the where actually India is currently lacking. And if we will make our students prepare them towards kind of a problem solving, problem identification, the problem solving approaches and the tools and the techniques, and it will help very immensely that they will not only perform in their respective job or in the career, also it will help them to manage lots of risk. And that risk may be naturally is a risk of nature, or risk of the person, or the risk of the professional. So just take the example of the COVID. So COVID is nature has given a situation to everybody, and who is going to survive? That depends upon that how we are going to accommodate with the time, and how we manage the risk. And that risk management with adaptability and bringing the new concept or the new methodologies that what we call is the innovations to address the current requirement is called the innovation process, or this is called the innovation management. And today we are going to discuss about this innovation process, ideation, and the management, that how we are going to manage in a very risk or uncertainty situation. And also it will also today also we are going to learn, also we will discuss about that different concept. So I will request all please mute your mic, so that maybe somebody is unmuted, that's why it's going echo. So please mute your mic. So today we are going to learn all these things. So I will not take much time. I will navigate to the presentation slides, and I'm going to explain you step by step. I think next 45 minutes that you are going to spend with me, and I hope it is going to kind of enriched, and it will be enriching not only at the knowledge level, also at the thought process level, and also you are going to familiar with certain tools and techniques that you are going to use in a next immediate once you complete this session. So that is the things, take home messages I'm going to provide you in next 45 minutes. So just please be ready with this process, this journey, and let's have a very enjoyable trip for next 45 minutes. So let me share the my screen. So am I allowed? Please, would you please allow me to share my screen?
Yes, sir, you can share.
Okay, so my screen is visible now. Is my screen is visible?
Yes.
Okay, so let's discuss about the today's topic on ideation and innovation management. And generally this is very important tool in the process of enterprise creation. So long years back, very long years back, John F. Kennedy, he's the then president of USA, and during that time he was just searching the dictionary, and he found a word called crisis that is written in Chinese letter. And in Chinese letter, the crisis only composed of two words, two letters, and one letter says represent it is a danger, and the second letter represent it is opportunity. So during that time, maybe John F. Kennedy was not much convinced, but during that time he has said that the sentiment or the linguistic, the sentiment behind this linguistic is quite inculcated with the culture of the Chinese people, and what they see, what they do. So they consider the crisis, they consider the danger, also opportunities go together, and that make it is called crisis. That means seeing the opportunity emerging from the crisis and unlocking this crisis in terms of opportunity is the definition, generally definition by these Chinese people. And that's why also I feel, because of this is the reason why the most recovered or the most speedily recovered economy after this post crisis or this COVID is this maybe the Chinese economy, or also you can say that the South Korean economy, or all these South Asian economies especially, they've speedily recovered during the post crisis or during this crisis period, because they have included this danger and opportunity and they see crisis as mix of danger and the opportunity. And this is also very true if you will see the innovation and the revolutions, technological revolutions happened in the last 200 years. So in the last 200 years, so there are more than more than 4 industrial revolutions happened. And each industrial revolution happened just followed by one of the world crisis, and every innovation cycle that our whole world community has undergone in the last 200 years leads to further its development of the human beings from one level to another level with better adapting capacity. So that means crisis is very important if you want to make growth, if you want to grow, and every crisis should be handled with the innovation or the chain system which will make you perfect in that system. So if we will take it granted that crisis will be obvious, and also to manage that crisis, innovation is very, very important and it is critical, then I think it will not I think everybody will agree and we cannot deny it. So that's why we have to consider it that crisis and innovation and all are integral part of our growth of our human civilization. Now consider that how actually this crisis management actually leads to the invention of the various tools and techniques. So in 1950, during that time, project management technique came, and that helped in proper resource utilization and proper resource allocation technique. So this project management technique introduced in 1950 during that time, that helped a lot to mobilize the resource in a better way and to manage the resources very effectively and efficiently. Then again in 1980, during this called when the globalization happened. So because in 1950 generally it is kind of post World War II period, and during that time project management concept came. But in 1980, because of this globalization and the liberalization, this okay. So may I request, please mute your mic.
Admin, please mute the mic.
Okay, so in 1980, during the globalization and this liberalization policy when came into the our world economy, so that during that time quality management came, because during that time every country has opened their economy and they have started focusing on export oriented economy. That's why this quality management was the very important, because to make your product fit for export market, it has to be passed through very rigorous and very quality improvement process. That's why this quality management came. But in 2010, and if you will see the kind of a crisis we are going through, especially there are environmental crises, there are technological crises, also this industrial revolution is happening in the last 10 years. See, just 10 years back, we are just hearing about the fourth industrial revolution. But in the last 2 years, we have started listening about the fifth industrial revolution. That means earlier, the industrial revolutions are taking more than 30 to 50 years time between two industrial revolutions. But in the last 10 to 15 years, now the gap between two industrial revolutions are getting certain, and it is getting further close. And I believe in the next 10 or 20 years, the industrial revolutions will come every 2 years and 3 years. Like in mobile phone, you will see that today is the technology used in the smartphone that is not constant in the next 1 month. You will see that especially in the automobile and especially the mobile phone technology, you will see that every 1 month or 2 months, you will see that something better version, something upgraded version is always coming. So similarly, the industrial revolution will also going through that. But actually, what is the key behind these revolutions? This is called the innovation. And because we are
सही है.
because of this adaptability, quality, and because of this creativity God has given to us, that's why we are successfully managing the crisis, and also we are passing through this revolution stages 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now we are at the stage of the fifth industrial revolution. Now let's come to the one of the recent study given by the McKinsey. And in the last 3 or 4 months, when they have studied this, how this COVID-19 crisis has impacted our enterprise and the startups and the business community in terms of the opportunity realization. So we got a very, very interesting fact from this study, is that 90% of enterprises or the executives or the businessmen or the startup and founders, they perceive that there will be a change in the business model itself, because earlier the business model is quite physical, and it is quite kind of a more relying on one-to-one personal contacts and physical contacts. But now the business mode is quite on online and quite of a digital mode. So the transforming from the physical to the digitalized mode is one of the transformation happened in the business model era. Now comes to the 85% of these startups or the enterprises, they see that the business model that they are going to deliver, or they are going to change, or the transformation is going to happen in the enterprise era, is a response to the customer's need and the change in their behavior. So now customers' need and behavior also changed in this crisis period, and that impacted the enterprises to change their business model. And also, another requirement is very, very essential in today's context is that the kind of a skill set and the expertise. So hope you all have come across with the situation that in the last 7-8 months during this crisis, many people has lost their job, or only those are competent, those are have additional skill set, and those are those have the commitment, they only remain retained in the job, and maximum of the people, they have lost their opportunity. No doubt the market is again booming up, market is again catching up, so definitely they will get the job. But who is the actually survivor? Who is the actually retainer? The retainer is the skill set and the expertise people. And this is it's a very interesting fact. Actually, nature has taught us, and we have to think that how we are going to make it into action by having this our creativity, innovation, and entrepreneurship characteristics or the potential within us. So another interesting fact I'm going to share with you all from this report is that in your left side, you just see the there are 4 bar diagrams that is comes under the innovation. So 55 is the point given to the innovation activities happening in the our economy, in the world economy, because this data represents more than 75 countries. So 55 is the point given to the innovation activity in the world economy just before the crisis. But 23 is the level of innovation activities is currently happening in during this crisis. So it is just 50% reduction in the innovation activities. But those are continuing, those are retaining these innovation activities with them in spite of this crisis. Actually, it is helping them in a long term to survive and to get to lead the business, to lead the sector in the post crisis period. And it is, again, it is very true that also it will be obvious phenomenon that once this crisis will over, and gradually innovation activities will increase, and it will go beyond the normal innovation activities, because in this crisis period it has given us a learning and kind of a teaching environment to us that how innovation is very, very important. And then once you will start getting habituated with these innovation activities, then definitely in the post-crisis period, after 6 months or 1 year, we are going to cross the innovation level what we are doing one year back, just before the crisis. So this is a very interesting phenomenon also it is going to happen. So that means those persons or those organizations, especially I'm talking about the innovation and entrepreneurship, the startups, those are having this innovation and entrepreneurship, for them a golden era is waiting for them. But what they have to do, they have to stick with the innovation and entrepreneurship in this crisis period, so that they will able to position them as a innovation leader or technology leader, or they will also deliver the product in a better way, the customer wants or the customer is expecting from the startups. So this is a very kind of an illustration that I thought I should communicate to you all. Now comes to the what is the innovation and the innovation management. I hope you all are very familiar with this word and this terminologies. And also, if I will ask or anybody will ask what is innovation, we have something to say, but in a very nutshell and very layman language. If we will not understand the actually the meaning behind this innovation and the innovation management, then we definitely are going to do some mistakes in the process of embracing this innovation and innovation management in our life. So what is the very layman language innovation means? Innovation says that anything new or changed, it may be a product, it may be a service, it may be a process, it may be a model, or it may be a method. So these are the 5 types actually given by the Oslo in the Oslo manual. In the OECD they have defined it. So this is the 5 areas. If anything new or the betterment we are doing which leads to realizing a high value, or which is redistributing the value in the existing stakeholders, so then it is called innovation. So innovation, we have to be very carefully see that innovation means it is a product innovation, or it's kind of a new product, introduce a completely new product, or it is a service innovation. That means you are catering in a better way from to our stakeholders. And it may be process innovation in terms of the biotechnology or pharmaceutical process, and model innovation, the business model. So consider the one of the example that Swiggy, Zomato, or the Ola, Uber, they have survived in the crisis. But other things, other industries, somewhat they have closed or shut down their activities. So they have developed a delivery models, and that delivery models and the methods help them to survive. So these are the basic meaning of that kind of a layman, in a very layman language we can understand this innovation. And what is the innovation management? So when innovation happens, starting from the problem identification to the value creation and further business potential realization, in each and every stage there is need the management and so that you will traverse from one stage to another stage to another stage, and finally you will reach to the business potential realization. So the management system will make sure that traveling from one point to the final or destination point and a constructive progressive growth is called the innovation management system, or when it is called a system, it is called the when it is combining the each and every stage, then it is called a system, but each stage is called the innovation management. Let's understand the metrics. So there are two things always play in a very coordinated fashion. So market, so being a startup, you are offering any product or service or method or process, whatever may be, you have to play in the market. If market will reject you, then you are nowhere. You have to vanish from the market. If market accept you, then you will flourish on that. So market is the final deciding factor which will decide your destiny. Being a startup founder or being a startup or being an entrepreneur, you are going to play in the market or not. So this market can be classified into disruptive and sustaining. So disruptive means something is completely new, and sustaining means something which is happening on incremental, something like a going on process. So another something in that market, being an entrepreneur, let's consider that I have a something product to offer, and if that product is completely new, then it is called the radical innovation. But if that product is just improvised and incremental incremental version of the previous innovation, then it is called the incremental. So product or the technology or the process, we can classify into incremental and the radical. Similarly, the market can be classified into disruptive and sustaining. When you're putting these two things under the matrix form, so incrementally sustaining, the first quadrant, incrementally sustaining is the very common proposition is given to each and every business and enterprise house that they have to follow. So just to take it, note that if any enterprise is sustaining today, because they are following the basic principle of incrementally sustaining, because they do something betterment, they do something innovation on daily basis, that's why they are sustaining. Now comes to the another category is called radically sustaining. Radically sustaining says that market is sustaining market, the same market. That means there is market is as like the not much change, but the product is something radical. So take the example of e-commerce or something like Ola and Uber when they came 3 and 4 years back. So during that time, the market is saying that we need the cab facility, and we are the customers and we are the middlemen. So customer is same, and we have to get the cab facility, but the way they have offered that product in a very different way. That is called the radical way. They brought cab facilities or the food facility, the e-commerce facility, even also the old products, selling of the old products, also GoJeffo, Olex. So all these things, they 3 and 4, 5, 6 years back, they come into the market system with a very radical way, but addressing the same market. Now comes to the another category is called incrementally disruptive. It says that market is disruptive, but disruptive means it is something new, but it is incrementally. So just take the example of the mobile phone and the automobiles. So you will see the lots of variants of smartphones, especially Samsung or this Apple and all kind of things. They're coming in very, very different advanced features in every 1 month, but they are focusing on the on the buyers and customers, and they're not removing the existing customers, but they're giving a solution to upgrade or to adopt something better features. So that means they're changing the market system, but still making people upgrade from one stage to another stage. That's why it is called the incrementally disruptive. And the fourth one, which is completely a out of box thinking. So in terms of the market, it is completely new. In terms of the product also, it is, or the innovation, it is completely new. That is called the space industry, the SpaceX, and there are more than 15 to 20 space startups, the SpaceX. So what they're doing, they're trying to see the privatization or the commercialization aspect in the space industry. So now SpaceX has been tied up with NASA, and they're sending the space shuttles to the creating a market or getting the business from the space industry. So these are the example of the how this market and innovation work, and this is a beautiful example of the innovation matrix. So being an innovator and being an entrepreneur, you should have this understanding of this, actually in which domain you are going to play. Because if you will not have this matrix in your hand, if you will not define actually where your technology, when your idea and where your startup is going to fit, it is very, very difficult to develop the strategy, how to establish in that market. So a wrong strategy will make you remove from the market, and it will just make all of your efforts zero. So being an entrepreneur, you have to move in a very strategical way, having this matrix and the quadrants and also proper strategy in your hand. Now comes to the further defining what is this disruptive and sustaining innovations. So generally, as I said, that disruptive innovations are something which is just completely new to the market, but whereas the sustaining innovations are the something which is incremental version of the existing one. So in that case, so just assume that if I will develop another pen, because this is called another improvised version pen, then actually I'm not going to make a disruption in the market, but definitely I'm going to take certain pie in the market by addressing or by capturing certain level of stakeholders, those are able to afford this high priced pen with different technologies or something fuel technologies. But if I want to create a different market, then I have to come something very, very different, unique product which is not been introduced or which is not been available in the market. And in that case, it is called the disruptive. And generally, the difference between this disruption innovation and the sustaining innovation is actually there is some paradox and there is something confusion existing there. I'm going to tell you what is that confusion, and if being an entrepreneur, you have to understand that confusion and you have to understand that paradox, how this disruption and sustaining innovations actually facing. So initially, when you are trying to come up with a disruptive technology and you are addressing a market with a disruptive innovation, definitely your first customer will be very, it will be bit kind of you will not get much large number of the customers, because your product is completely new and those are able to take the risk and those are able to purchase that innovation. Then you will get very, very less number of such customers. And sometimes it gives the illusion that disruptive innovations will get less market share, and also disruptive innovations will get failed in comparison to the sustaining innovations. But it is just an illusion. But if you will continue your effort, if you will put your innovation, if you will try to develop and further refine as per the customer need, and if you will discover the problems from the customer and trying to cater it, especially the Apple, what is doing in Apple, they are trying to discover the problems, and they are through aspiration, and they're trying to design a product to meet that aspiration. So through that, they're trying to capture the market. But if you will pursue that disruptive innovation for in a long term, then definitely it will exceed, it will overtake the sustaining innovation in terms of the profit. Now comes to this dilemma, or we call innovator's dilemma. So as I said, that there will be two innovations. One is called disruptive innovation, another is called sustaining innovation. So as I said that in early period, disruptive innovations are quite looks like very complex, and disruptive innovations are quite the founder or the startup entrepreneur or the person who has invented the disruptive innovation, many times they get discouraged because it never accepted it that from the customer side there are always less demand at the initial level, but once the demand reach to the level where the sustaining innovation has, then after once he started crossing it, then that disruptive innovation creates a multi-millionaire or the billionaire company out of it. So that means if you want to come up with a disruptive innovation, you have to thrive the process of underwater till it reaches to the surface of creating a certain minimum of the kind of a critical mass of the customers, which will further create the demand. And once the demand is created, then you can make wonder out of this innovation. Now comes to the technology adoption cycle. So the gap between this underwater. So as I said that the under process, and when it will cross the market, that means the gap, the bridge between this early adopters to the early majority. So to jump this gap from this block to another block is the actually where startup founders or the entrepreneurs or the innovators actually they get failed. So during that stage, if they will able to survive, if they will successfully jump from this level to this level, then I think that is the best moment for each and every entrepreneur or the innovator. And after that, market will take care of their innovation. But till they jump from this block to that block, the chasm, so there actually the problem lies how to manage that innovation. And the innovation management comes handy when you will understand this, and that will help you to traverse through this difficult period. So what are the actually essentials of the innovation in a nutshell? Actually, the aspiration is the prime, and if being a person, you are aspire and you want to bring you want to create a kind of a business solution, and that is completely based on the innovation based, then actually there is a high chance that you will able to thrive this difficult period. And another thing is, another quality of the startups or the founders is they choose very meticulously. They choose the right opportunity, where to with calculating the risk associated with that, also proper information and the logics and the proper research. So they choose the appropriate intervention at the right time with the right place, so that they will able to convert that intervention into a opportunity. And always they discover actual better insights from the customer side, from the business side, from the market side, from the technology side, and they try to translate into winning value propositions. So they always thrive for the discover the new aspects, new insights from the whoever comes around to them. And the fourth one is the evolved. So they have the aspiration, they choose their route, they choose very appropriately, rightly for the every initiatives they undertake, and also they discover the insights from the different stakeholders, market, and also by using this as a building block, they evolve and they create new business models that provide a defensible, robust, and scalable, also sustainable. That means in terms of the profit generation. So they evolve. And another is they generate, and further also they scale, the extend, and mobilize. All these are the 8 qualities of a startup founder or an entrepreneur or an innovator to make this innovation to make the innovation successful, starting from the problem identification till enterprise creation. So all these qualities are very, very important. And these are the kind of innovation phases, and this is a kind of acceptable phases, but it is not always linear. Sometimes they are overlapped each other also, and sometimes iterative also. There one stage is giving feedback to the previous one, and they create a feedback loop, learning loop, and rather than the more linear, they are quite overlapped and iterative. So it always starts with idea, and idea comes from the problem, existing problem, or a new thing, something that you have discovered. And idea, proof of concept, prototype, validation, pilot, scale, market. So all these are the well accepted stages of innovation phase of innovation. And there are so many opportunities, there are so many government schemes are already there in our country to provide each and every level. No doubt at the idea level there are always less number of schemes, but when you will move off in the ladder, when you will go to the pilot stage, scale stage, and market stage, there are so many other opportunities, because in the market there are some soft loans are there are some investment, angel investor, venture capitalist firms are there. Those are ready to invest when you have established, when you demonstrated certain level of pilot or the kind of a scale up stage in your startup. So there are so many opportunities, but I'm going to focus more on the ideation and the innovation. So just assume that you have 4 years, you have around 4 to 5 years in your hand, and you have decided that today you have decided that you want to start a business. And this timeline is just a thumb rule. Don't take it a kind of a form that this is the only 5 years is required to start a business. But just what I'm taking, just it's a thumb rule. Just take 5 years there are 5 years in your hand. And today, if you have started conceptualizing an idea, and you have to not only think about the idea, also you have to think about a team. So both idea formation and idea validation and the idea conversion into innovation and team formation to a company formation, it should go simultaneously hand to hand. So initially the team has to, or the person has to focus on the idea creation, idea validation, and also they have to identify who are the persons that they can join the team and bring lots of complementary and supplementary skill set into the board, so that they will able to move smoothly, and also they will come up with a better version of the idea, and that will be more acceptable form to the market. And similarly, team commitment, validation, and organization formation in form of the startup as a private limited or LLP or in other firms, it has to be, both the things has to go simultaneously. So these are the process in the ideation, innovation, and the startup development phases. And we all are agree that currently in our academic institutions, there are so many support system exist. It may be a IPR based support. It may be a kind of a incubation support. It may be kind of a at the early stage startup level or at the growth stage startup level, especially the research parks. So there are so many support systems are now our higher educational institutions specially playing, and they are offering their supports and the kind of a facilities to the early stage startups and also at the idea level, so that more such innovations and academic entrepreneurs can emerge from the academic setup. And we all are aware about the service incubation services offered by the various incubation units. So I'm not going to define all these services, but I'm going to tell about this metrics. And again, it is very important metrics. If you will understand it, it will help you a lot in designing the strategy at the initial level. So as I said, just see that there are 4 extremes. In x-axis, there is technology is one extreme and market is one extreme, and at the y-axis there is a push level strategy and pull level strategy. Both are the 2 extremes. So there are certain type of process generally we are using in innovation management. It may be so innovation can be a pull based process. Innovation can be generated through a push-based process, and there are also other tools that we have in our hand, like agile and lean startup technology and the phase gate process. These are the various innovation management process through which we can manage that innovation. But let's discuss about what is push and pull approach. Consider you are an individual and you want to start a business with an innovative idea. So definitely you have two options in your hand, how to start, where to start. The first option is that you want to adopt a push-based innovation model, or you want to adopt a pull-based innovation model. It is a choice with you, and the choice with you is actually you have to decide based on the kind of knowledge, kind of skill set, and kind of capacity in terms of the resource, in terms of the financial resources, human capital resources, technological resources you have to capture that opportunity. So in the push-based innovation model, generally it comes within the system. It is internally, startup or the business or the enterprise, they come up with an innovation and they said that this is our product and please accept it and you have to pay for that. So sometimes, so what is the process generally they follow? They do lots of research. They use the big data analysis, and what they do, they come up with a product innovation which is not exist, but they are addressing at the aspirational level, and they are creating a kind of a they are discovering a problem, and the product is kind of aspirational. So here the product offered by the Apple and the product offered by the IKEA and all these pharmaceutical companies, all are following the push-based innovation model, because they identify the problem, they discover the problem and they develop a solution. So far the customer is not aware about that problem, but once the solution is ready, they communicate that, see, this is your problem and this is the solution. And after that, customer realize that, oh, this is also one of my problem. So because they hit at the aspiration level. But in pull-based innovation model, it is just reverse, because here the customer is facing that problem. He is aware that the problem is there and he is struggling to overcome that problem. And being a startup or being an entrepreneur, he said that, okay, this is your problem, let me go back to my lab and let me develop the solution, then I will come up with that solution. So here the starting point is the customer's problem is already there, and startup founder will take these problems. He will in a team, they identify, they develop the solution, again they go back to the customer and they propose. If customer will be happy that his problem will get solved, then he will accept it, and if not, again they have to come back, again they have to rework, again they have to propose to the customer for the acceptance. So this is called pull-based innovation model. Mostly the startups, mostly the very early stage startups, or the person not having much resource and they have not a big team, there is no R&D facility, there will be no much investment capacity. In that case, they start with pull-based innovation model. That's why we are at the early stage in the special academic setup, we are telling our students, you identify a problem, then from the market, from the society, again you come back to the your lab and develop a solution, then go to the market in a business way. This is called pull-based innovation model. But push-based innovation model will be more appropriate when there are lots of technological giants and they have the money, they have the people, they have the human resource, they have the access to the all kind of things. For them, push-based innovation model is fine. So you start with pull-based innovation model. Let's have the experience, let's have the money. Once you have the capital in your hand, then you can go for the push-based innovation model. So this is the approach actually you have to follow. And another one thing is that when you are having a pull-based or push-based model, the common process is called concept generation. At the initial stage, you have to see that who are the customer, who is your target customer, and actually what is the number of such target customers are there in the market. If the target customer are not much enough, and then it is a question mark, then it is a question mark for your sustainability of your business. And once you know that who is your target customer and what is the number of customer in the market, then you also have to see that are they going to purchase your product repeatedly, or it is only one-time solution. So you have to see that what is the such frequency. And once you have that frequency, then also you have to identify how much, what is the willingness to pay, or how much that customer can able to pay for your solution. So when you combine these three blocks, number of target customers, frequency that solution is used, and willingness to pay, so then together, then you have to divide with level of satisfaction with current available alternatives. That means what are the solutions is already existing solutions to address the problem. Then you will make it equation. Then finally you will come up with a output. It is called the value of the potential opportunity, and actually that is called the business idea. That is called the idea. Actually you should pursue it. So this is the startup curve. Generally it starts with a very flat line, but initially innovator teams are quite enthusiastic. They always say that we catch the big idea. Then when they started implementing it, then they have to go through the underwater for a long, it's kind of a high process of refining. And finally when they have developed the product fit, when they develop the product market fit, that is the minimum viable business or the minimum viable product, then after that they will again surface in the market, and they will leads to the scale off and further expansion phase. So this is the kind of a startup curve, general startup curve. In case of technological innovation based startups, this is the general trend you can observe in the market. And there are so many processes are actually already there, and there are two important tools generally helps in developing this ideation and this innovation is called design thinking and creative problem solving. I'm not going to take much time because I'm directly jumping into the design thinking. So this is some problem. This is called a holistic problem analysis technique. As generally, if you are good at dissecting the problems, so if you're good at clustering the concepts into the cause, effect, and the main problem, then you have to develop the ray diagram, connect the effect, cause, and the main problems in a ray diagram. Finally you have to develop the affinity diagrams to a relational diagrams, and through this way you can manage your problems at the initial stage and to come up with a solution. And this is one of the technique, but the most acceptable technique is called design thinking. And design thinking comprise of the 5 stages. It's called empathize, next is define, ideate, prototype, and test. So what design thinking says, that it is always not a linear. It is a kind of a, as I said earlier, that it is create lots of feedback loop and also iterative process. But initial stage is called empathize. Empathize says that being an innovator, first you have to go to the market and you have to see that who are the target customers or who are the actually user for whom you are going to work. So if you have identified that you are going to work for youth and entertainment, you want to bring the business or you want to bring an idea in the entertainment sector, then you have to see that what are how youths are using the time towards the entertainment. So if this is the question, this is called the problem statement, and through which you have to identify that how my youths or the target customer behaving, and what kind of activities generally they do, and what they think, and also what they feel. So empathy mapping composed of the 4 things: activities, that is called deed, what kind of activities generally they do, and said means how they react, what is their opinion, and felt means what they feel, and thought means what they think. So heart, mind, hand, and the speak. So these 4 action components you have to analyze from the target customer's point of view. Once you have this everything in detail, then you have to define that problem statement. And once the problem statement is defined with meaningful and actionable problem statements, then you have to create ideation, and from ideation you have to go for the prototype, and from prototype you have to go for testing. Let's see one example here. Consider that as I said, that example, consider that you want to bring some business innovation or a business model to address the youth in terms of engaging them in better way, especially entertainment sector. So the problem you have through empathy model, through observation, you have identified that the youths tend not to watch TV programs on the TV at home. So you have developed a statement now. So through empathy, you have developed a statement. You have observed something, then you have developed a statement. Youths tend not to watch TV programs on the TV at home. This is called the problem statement. Once you have this problem statement, you have to use two techniques. One is called HMW and another is called WH. So what is HMW? How might we? And what is another one? WH, it is called why, how, laddering. So this is why, how, laddering, and how might we. These two tools you have to use to ask more and more questions and to spark your ideation. So what are the then how might we questions for the youth tends not to watch TV programs on the TV at home? So how might we make TV more social so youth feel more engaged? And then how might we enable TV programs to be watched anywhere at any time? And how might we making watching TV at home more exciting? So when you're going to ask this type of questions, then you will get some better solutions. And also you have to ask why to progress, why you want to do it, and how you're going to do it. The most example of this design thinking process, hope IPL match is going on, all are aware about IP League TV. The IP League TV through which mobile phone, mostly the advertisement is coming that youths are not comfortable watching IP match or IPL match from the home because others are disturbing. This is the most the advertisement is there in the market. So somebody has came up with a concept that you just purchase this IPL TV and you can watch in your mobile phone, and also you can share your IPL TV with the other your friends. So this IPL TV is one of the concept that is generated through this design thinking process. Another business startup is called MPL, that is Mobile Premier League. That advertisement is again it's more prominent in our in nowadays because it gives a kind of a real-time experience of playing the cricket, also earning the credits, also earning some certain kind of a cash when you play that game. So this is the way. These are some examples of design thinking that you can also use in your life, and you can come up with new ideas, and that ideas will help you in developing the business. So once you have the idea in your hand, then the next stage is that how you will pass from each through the innovation phase or the innovation ladder, so that you will cross one stage by stage. So that this phase gate process says that when you have the idea is there and your solution is ready, then you have to traverse from one stage to another stage. And when you will traverse the phase, you have to set certain criteria in each and every stage. That is called predetermined criteria, which will help you to move only forward. There will be no backward movement. And this phase gate process is generally used by these pharmaceutical companies, also mostly in the technological development companies, where they use this phase gate process technique to start from the ideation to move to the launch of the business in a very methodological way. And agile and lean startup, this is another techniques generally used by the startups. So whereas this phase gate process is generally used by the big companies or pharmaceutical companies, especially those are in the highly regulated industries, and they're developing the innovation in a very controlled and predictable environment. So they use this phase gate process. But when the environment is more complex and there is high risk associated with the business, and also the technology is much not defined, in that case agile and lean startup technology is the more appropriate one, because it gives kind of a strategy which minimizes the risk of failure. And agile and lean startup is a process that gives a rapidly testing and validating your assumptions. So that's why most of the startups, those actually adopt the pool oriented strategy, they use this agile and lean startup technology to move progress from ideation to the enterprise creation. And this is the kind of a session actually I want to deliver for the on special ideation and for innovation process management. And I understand there are so many techniques are there, but these are the simple techniques that you can use, and each and every person also can use, not only at the for the enterprise creation, also you can use in your professional life. And this will actually help you to move progress step by step, and also will make you more kind of a behave like an entrepreneur and also innovator. So with this, I will stop my session here, and I will hand over the session to Sanjay. Please take it forward.
Sanjay sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for giving a valuable guidance. For the question hour session, I will hand over it to our IES forum coordinators, Mr. Sandeep Magdum and Mr. Sopan Agam, sir.
Thank you,
Sopan
Sanjay sir.
Yeah, please go ahead, sir.
Yes, sir.
It was really excellent session, very informative. We got huge knowledge from sir's session. Great learning for all of us. Sir, with your permission, we would like to take few questions. Already we had circulated registration form. In that we got few questions. Can I take, sir?
Yes, please.
Sir, one question is about how to implement our ideas.
How to implement our ideas?
Yes, sir.
See, again, the innovation management process that I have I just mentioned, that there are two stages. One is called phase gate process, and another is called agile or lean startup technology, lean startup methodology. So just you have to assess that actually in which stage you are. If you have enough resource in your hand, if you have the human resource, if you have the financial resource, if you have the technologically strong, and you are doing something, the innovation in a very laboratory or very controlled environment, then you go for phase gate process. But if your innovation is first of its kind and you are not much aware about the risk, and you perceive that there are high risk associated with the innovation, and there is no much access to the resource like technological resource or human resource or financial resource, also there is no much R&D facility, backup facility, and investment facility, then you go for the lean startup methodology, which says that you have to validate each and every stages, whatever you are doing from ideation. Next is prototype, then your is called market testing, market validation. Then also you have to develop, you have to formulate the enterprise marketing strategy, and also you have to production strategy. Then all the things you have to validate each and every level, so that the risk will be get minimized, and also you will make sure of implementation of that phase in a systematic way.
Thank you, sir. Sir, we have another question from one of our participant. Participant is asking how to identify sector for a business and how we can become a successful entrepreneur.
See, success word I cannot guarantee, but actually your success lies on actually in which domain, in which level you are going to play. So this success comes later, but the first thing is that you have to, as I said, that there are 8 qualities that 8 qualities of an person that will actually decide that actually you are actually moving towards success or not. What are these 8 qualities? I'm not going to tell in detail, but the one is aspiration. So your aspiration, your discovery ability, your insight, your kind of a risk management ability, your opportunity identification ability, and your kind of a other techniques generally we used in just yes. So this mobilizing, resource mobilizing ability, and how soon you are implementing that program. Because once it is very easy to start, but how soon you are implementing that program, how quickly you are bringing it to action, that also decide your success. So all these 8 qualities, aspiration, and how to appropriately choose the right option, and your discoverability, your evolving the different business models, and also accelerating kind of how you are implementing it, then scale off, extend, and the mobilizing ability. All these 8 qualities, once you will have this something somewhat more or less, it is fine, but then it is chances of success will definitely come. But wherever you are lacking in some qualities, you're trying to develop a team who is going to drive that part. So through team formation, you can make it success. So individual, it is very difficult to make success. So I always say that you go for team and bring the complementary skill set, so that what you are lacking, others will try to fill that gap.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. I have one more question. Okay. I'll take it from YouTube Live itself. The question is from Mr. Sunil Kilari. He is the member of IISc Sinhagad Institute of Management. So he's asking about which is the best process to manage the innovation.
See, nothing is called best. Main thing is that best is defined in which situation you are going to adopt it. So sometimes that's why first you have to understand that innovation matrix. So in which quadrant actually your innovation is falling in. Accordingly, based on the quadrant, your innovation strategy, your innovation process will change. But the basics is same, but how you are because innovation is the only one thing which is true in the whole world. Earlier we are not using innovation. Earlier we are using the word change, because I hope you all are aware, but the change is the only thing which is constant in our whole world, in the universe. Similarly, nowadays innovation is the only things which will help you to, which will make you to survive. So innovation is nothing is defined one. Innovation is always response to the existing current given situation, that how you are evolving. So I will not say that this is the standardized approach, but definitely the qualities that I have mentioned, the innovation metrics I have mentioned, if you will able to identify actually where you are, how you are, what is in what level your idea is playing, then it will be easy for you to decide the next stage, that how you are going to manage that innovation.
Okay, thank you, sir. There is the next question from Mr. Rahul Chavan. He's asking about how to measure innovation results and outcomes. Is there any parameter to measure those?
Generally, we use the word KPI, key performance indicators. So if you will classify the whole chain, one is called input, and it is called the process. And when input comes into the process, then it is something, it comes as output. So generally 3 things: input, process, and output. And this output further leads to the outcome or the impact. So just assume that for a startup, what is the idea? What is the input? Input is the different ideas is the input. And what is the process? The process is actually how you are going to select the idea, that is that choose a best idea or the most appropriate idea for the market situation or for the time situation, and to pursue that idea to a product. So product is your, or the offerings, that what you're going to offer to the customer is your product. So idea, process is called ideation and the prototype development, and further is called your product or the services that is you are going to offer to your customer. So these 3, if you will develop at least certain 5-6 indicators. So what is the indicator for the idea level? That sector relevant, that is your time consumption, that is your opportunity. There is a proper market, there is a market size. So these are all these are called the implementation, or the time limit through which that it will take for conversion, and your resource requirement. So all these are the indicator at the input level. What is the process level? How soon, what is the technology intensiveness that it will convert, your team compatibility, your skill set, all these will be at the process level, and your also money that investment. And then what will be the at the output level indicators? Output will be what are the innovation features that is more appealing to the customer, what are the pricing, and actually in which geography you are going to play. So all these are the indicators for the output level. So similarly, if you will develop this cycle, input, process, output, outcome, and impact, again you can develop some predetermined criteria or some indicators, and you can name it as a knowledge, key performance indicator to manage, to measure, and to track the progress of your innovation. So that is called the
Thank you.
innovation measurement.
Thank you so much, sir. There are too many questions, but due to time constraint, we will not take much questions right now. I request participants to connect with the Deepan sir, as he already shared the email ID. So now we are going to stop here with the question and answer, and I hand over it for the vote of thanks to the Sanjay Jagtap sir. Sanjay Jagtap sir, over to you.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Deepan sir, giving a valuable insights on this topic. Now this is the right platform, sir, on behalf of IES Forum, faculty members, and eminent members and group. So we are a group of 205 plus faculty members, eminent members are there. So how we form it is very important to I give it brief. MHRD Innovation Cell from 28 April to 22nd May, they have started IIC online session on innovation, entrepreneurship, and IPR theme. And this is a platform we, the faculty from various institute, IIC president, conveners, EDC coordinator, TNP coordinators, IISL coordinator, we are come together and we form a group. And we think innovatively, why should we not create a group that should work for to create or to form a recognized entrepreneurship forum that imbibe innovation, leadership, and business development practices that generate successful entrepreneurs and which makes a social impact. So based on this vision, we are working on this. And thanks from the support we getting from the MHRD that IIC online session has provided. And now from Ministry of Education that you are delivering these sessions and expecting your support for IES Forum for creating and developing innovation and startup ecosystem. Okay. As part of this IES Forum webinar series, now the sessions for session 2nd and 3rd, we are planned on 30 October. We are taking a session 2 on digital marketing for startup. And that resource person is Mr. Karan Shah, founder of Indian Institute of Digital Education. On 1st November, session 3, IES Forum conducting and the topic is the role of startups in a pandemic and in future. And the resource person, Sri Muthu Singaram, CEO, Incubation, HTIAC, IIT Madras. So these well-known resource persons, we are invited and we start with this inaugural session. And with this, your valuable insight. The students, faculty, eminent members will get benefited. And thank you, sir. Now, on behalf of IES Forum and JSPM Imperial College of Engineering and Research, I will give a vote of thanks. First of all, I thanks our founder secretary, Honorable Professor T.J. Sawant, sir, for giving a valuable guidance and support. Our campus director, Dr. V.M. Kayande, Dr. S.N. Patil has supported. Our institute principal, sir, has continuously from the starting to webinar implementation, planning, all these, they are supported and inspired us to proceed. Basically, first of all, thanks Mechanical Engineering Department, their student MESA, the students are working from the starting day. And from Innovation Cell Ambassador, Vandana Thakur, he has starting from this session. They are provided valuable guidance into proceedings, and thanks to IES Forum faculty members, because these are the mains. IES Forum faculty members, the coordinators from various cities and from various institutes, they are actively coordinated and supported in that involving the students and faculty from their institutes. So thank you all IES Forum members, and thank you all to the participants. And we look forward for the session 2 and session 3. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And the
Thank you.
feedback form link is shared from us.
Thank you all for the opportunity, and also it was it's a kind of a very heart touching situation, or kind of a you all have
Yes,
came forward with such a beautiful plan, and also like IIC network, you have developed another network in your state, and more than 250, and I believe in next 1 year you will take this 250 to 2000, and
yes, sir.
you
Thank
will
you.
make it more vibrant, and you will make it sure that it will be at the Maharashtra level. It will connect each and every faculty, and
Yes, sir.
you will try to focus that each and every faculty should also develop this entrepreneurship and innovation mindset and skill set, so that when they will turn to the innovator and the entrepreneur, automatically they will inspire 2 lakh more than 2 lakh students they
Yes,
are
sir.
coming across. So that is the way the chain reaction should go forward, and in next 3 to 4 years we will make all our higher educational institutions entrepreneurial and innovative. So that should be our target.
Yes.
And should be the vision. And the days are not so far, and India is going to lead the innovation and entrepreneurship if we will put our effort, each and every one, with very conscious manner, and also through very focused way.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Can we
Yes,
stop?
thank you.
Okay.
Nikhil, end the meeting.